By this time of the Easter season, most of us have laid aside that festive mood of the Easter Vigil and Easter Sunday. The Easter lilies and the sound of music have long faded. Spring break vacations are a distant memory. Yet, our gospel writer insists on taking us back to Jesus' farewell discourse to his disciples at the Last Supper. And today's story is a continuation of last Sunday's reading from John, who depicted Jesus as fully aware of his disciples' fragile health and their struggle to know what direction to take when he's no longer with them as their guide. The major point that we are called to focus on is the sending of a second advocate, the Spirit of Truth. Now, while John's gospel story is a brief, very brief 7 sentences, there are 2 things that stand out, at least for me. First, Jesus calls out 4 times the notion of loving me. Second, rather intriguing and mysteriously complex, is the second person pronoun construct of being with you, remains with you, not leaving you, you will see, you will realize, you will live, and I am in you. These are all action statements of what Jesus is willing to do for us if we choose to love him. Love and action. Love and action. Love. Have you ever considered how many times a day we use or think of the word love? For example, I love it. Fill in the blank. I love pizza. I love my family. Well, perhaps not. The word love can have so many different meanings. We certainly don't love pizza the way we love people. The word love in the English language lends itself to various interpretations based on the context in which it's used. Now, the ancient Greeks, they had many words to describe empathetic, friendly, romantic, playful, unconditional, and universal love. Yet, in our English language, we are stuck with just one word. Now, while the ancient Greeks would disagree with how we loosely use love in our vocabulary, Jesus, even before he puts the word love into a sentence, he puts love into action. Action. On that evening of the Last Supper, the very first thing Jesus did was wash his disciples' feet. Not the kind of feet that we washed here on Holy Thursday for those dozen or so that were invited up. That is, for the most part, clean feet, well-manicured nails, perhaps some painted nails, a bit of succulent, I'm sure, but sweaty, dirty feet and sandals that have walked the arid desert day. This dramatic effect of kneeling, washing, and serving his disciples was a transformative act and a sign for us on how to love one another. It's a self-giving love that expects no return and can have a radical transformation in all human activities. Indeed, Jesus himself lived such a relationship of love and action throughout his entire life. Some of his greatest acts of love were the little acts of daily life, all summed up at his death. In fact, during our Lenten journey, our gospel writer John shared many acts of Jesus' love. In the town of Samaria, Jesus crossed both gender and ethnic barriers by asking a Samaritan woman for a drink of water to quench his thirst. Then offers her the gift of living water that gives eternal, not temporary life. In the old city near the pool of Siloam, Jesus smeared clay on the man born blind from birth and gave him his sight. And in Bethany, Jesus raised his dear friend Lazarus from the dead. Jesus' daily acts were transformative and an expression of his love. This Easter message, which continues to unfold with the image of Christ as the Good Shepherd, the gate for his sheep. This is the love and action that Jesus desires of us. Love and action. On this Mother's Day, we celebrate our mothers whose lives are a constant image of love and action. While on this day we honor them with gifts to express our love, I have a story to share of a daughter who honors her mother in the way that she lives her life. This is in the joy of Easter in the way Jesus lived every single day. This is Gabriella's story. The story begins a decade ago when Gabriella and her younger sister tragically lost their father to suicide. Their mother, suddenly single, faced the perils of raising her young girls in the new reality with looming loneliness, loss, and anxiety. Today at 21, Gabriella is a third-year nursing student at the University of Virginia. Now, during Holy Week, she spent her days between classes, exams, and administering vaccination shots. After one of those long days, she wrote on her social media page, "Such a blessing to be part of the effort to restore hope and healing. One day at a time, to see the tears of gratitude and the smiles of relief come to my patients' faces was just a gift." And then on Easter morning, after going to service with some of her student colleagues, she wrote, "I felt like buzzing from the joy of Easter. The love of Christ is so infectious, and it was so present with the people whom I serve and see God in every day. Bearing witness, giving testimony, the gift of faith. Surely an awesome Mother's Day gift and better than any Hallmark card." So, what does the type of love that Jesus commanded of us look and feel like? Well, according to Gabriella, it's rooted in Christ. It's a life of service and action that brings tears of gratitude and smiles to those whom we minister to. It's infectious. And get this, it buzzes with the joy of Easter. Love in action. Would you not agree that this is the work of the promised advocate and the same love in action we are called to every day?